Let's begin with a quiet truth, one most men never hear until it's too late. It is not her beauty that controls you. It's your belief that beauty is rare. Every generation of men has been told the same lie, that a woman's attention is a prize, and that his value is measured by his ability to win her over. But what if the prize was never her? What if the real treasure was your attention? A man who understands this doesn't chase. He chooses. He doesn't worship. He witnesses. He doesn't collapse under beauty. He calibrates to energy. The moment you stop offering your presence to every attractive face, the dynamic changes. Your energy becomes scarce. Your presence becomes power. Because now she has to earn something she once received for free. And that is when the chase begins. Modern men don't pursue women, they worship them. Every like, every compliment, every unnecessary text is a deposit in her bank. But here's the catch. Most of these transactions are one-sided. She doesn't value what's given without discretion. She craves the energy of a man who knows the worth of his attention. When you stop paying her in worship, she's forced to question her own currency. And when your attention becomes scarce, she starts investing. Women are biologically wired to test a man's center, not always consciously, but deeply. In her, there is a force that wants to know, can he be shaken? She'll withdraw, go cold, create chaos, not out of malice but instinct. She wants to feel your stillness, your refusal to bend. The average man will try harder. He will explain himself, overextend, overperform. He will beg for peace in the hopes of restoring her warmth. But the sovereign man remains still, calm, unshaken. That's when something ancient awakens in her. She senses she's standing before a different kind of man, one who is not moved by validation, one who cannot be puppeteered by seduction. Every time she withdraws, he stays present. Every time she pushes, he doesn't flinch. Every time the game begins, he refuses to play. And suddenly, she shifts from testing to trusting, from calculating to surrendering. Because in front of her stands something rare. A man unmoved, a man unshaken, a man uninterested in the spotlight she's used to weaponizing. What women won't say out loud is this. They are exhausted by the men who perform. They are numb to those who bend for approval. Every compliment that's not rooted in truth feels hollow. Every gesture that seeks validation feels transactional. She's met men who flexed power, but few who embodied it in silence. Because if your value has to be proven, it was never yours to begin with. If you chase her attention, you've already placed her above you. And if you crumble under her tests, you've shown her your center is fragile. But the man who doesn't perform, doesn't pretend, and doesn't pursue becomes the mystery she can't decode, the presence she can't manipulate, the energy she starts to crave. So ask yourself, how many times have you traded dignity for desire? How often have you earned her body, but lost your self-respect? It's time to break that pattern. It's time to stop performing. It's time to lead. The sovereign man validates through discernment, not desperation. He gives attention the way a king gives coin, not to everyone, not for nothing, but to those who have earned presence with depth, with softness, with grace. Every time you withhold empty praise, you force her to show substance. Every time you remain silent instead of complimenting beauty, you challenge her to offer more. Every time you don't bend, you invite her to rise. This is what flips the script, because you're no longer giving attention to get. You're giving attention as a reflection of your own internal alignment. She begins to mirror you. She reaches, she softens, she opens. Not because she was manipulated, but because she finally met a man who knew his worth and didn't trade it for approval. Imagine a throne room, a long table of nobles shouting opinions, and in the center sits one man, silent, calm, watching. He speaks once and the room stills. That man is you, if you dare to stop performing. If you dare to hold your energy like a sword instead of spilling it like water. How many times have you praised a woman without knowing her? How often have you offered your heart to someone who never earned your presence? Start filtering, start discerning, because when your energy becomes sacred, the world will treat it that way. And the women who once ignored you will now lean in, uncertain, curious, captivated. You don't gain power through performance. You gain it by removing the need to be seen. You gain it by refusing to audition, by walking into the room without needing to be noticed, by speaking when silence no longer serves truth. When a man stops chasing attention, he forces the world to come to him. His presence becomes felt, not flaunted. His silence speaks louder than compliments. His stillness becomes a gravitational force. Think of the boardroom where one man speaks the least, but shifts the mood by merely adjusting his gaze, or the dinner table where others laugh loud and gesture wildly. Yet it's the man who listens deeply, who becomes unforgettable. Every time you resist the urge to impress, she notices. Every time you pause instead of proving, she leans in. Every time you detach from needing her eyes, you gain her respect. Most men never feel this shift. They live and die chasing. They run themselves dry, trying to be seen, heard, validated. But the few who withdraw their worship, who stop broadcasting their desire, who stop trading their soul for a smile, change everything. Because the moment you no longer need her to see you, she can't stop looking. So ask yourself, how many conversations have you hijacked just to be noticed? How many posts, comments, stares, gifts were really bids for recognition? Withdraw. Refocus. Because when you stop being loud for approval, your silence becomes legendary. Emotional sovereignty is the death of manipulation. It's when her silence no longer threatens you, because your peace is not rented, it's owned. When her beauty no longer blinds you, because you've seen behind the curtain and stayed centered. When her approval is no longer your compass, because you found your direction long before she entered the map. Every time she goes cold and you stay warm. Every time she withholds and you don't chase. Every time she tests and you stay rooted. She feels something different, something deeper. This is when she feels safe. Not because you submitted, not because you over-explained, but because you stood still in the storm. Because while other men fold, you remain. While others overreact, you breathe. Have you ever been the man who spiraled from a single text? Have you ever begged for clarity from someone who enjoyed your confusion? What if your calm became your clarity? What if your stillness became your statement? Emotional sovereignty isn't coldness, it's command. It's knowing that her chaos isn't yours to fix. It's trusting that your presence, unbending and unmoved, is more powerful than any performance. So next time you feel the test, don't flinch, don't flee, don't fix, just stay. Still strong, certain, and watch her drop the mask she wore for every man before you. She cannot play games with a man who doesn't pick up the pieces. She cannot dominate a man who does not kneel. She cannot outmaneuver a man who doesn't need her direction. Every time you refuse to pick up what she broke, every time you don't chase what walked away, every time you stand tall when others beg, you send a message louder than words. And that, right there, is the moment the power flips. Not because you took it, but because you stopped giving it away. You become the one she respects. Not for how much you chase, not for how well you perform, but for how calm you remain when others crumble, for how clear you speak when tension rises, for how little you need to prove. Think about it. How many times have you apologized just to keep the peace? How often have you compromised your values for attention? How many pieces of yourself have you handed over, hoping it would earn you love? It's time to stop picking up what you didn't break. It's time to stop kneeling before false gods of beauty and approval. The sovereign man doesn't explain his power. He simply embodies it. And in doing so, he forces everyone to rise or walk away. That is real dominance, quiet, rooted, absolute. So remember this. Stop offering your essence to every woman who smiles. Stop collapsing at the feet of beauty. Stop handing out your presence like it's a discount coupon. Start honoring your energy like it's sacred, because it is. Start asking who's worthy of your time, not how you can be worthy of theirs. Start seeing yourself as the gate, not the applicant. You don't need to be chosen to be valuable. You don't need to chase to be loved. You don't need to prove your worth through obedience. Every time you choose solitude over desperation, you level up. Every time you walk away from drama instead of dancing with it, you rise. Every time you say, "Not this time," to manipulation, you reclaim yourself. You are the prize, not because you say it, but because you've stopped acting like you aren't. So ask yourself, how often have you let someone else decide your value? How many times have you mistaken attention for affection? Make the switch, from chaser to chooser, from noise to presence, from proving to being. And once you understand this, she will too. That's the truth they begged me not to share. Because once enough men awaken to this, the game ends, and the era of sovereign men begins.